We've assembled our own panel to get their verdict on racial inequality. They're not political pundits or politicians, but high-flying British teenagers who live in one of the poorest boroughs of the country.
Hi, my name's Iram, I'm 17 and I'm a British Pakistani.
My name's Joe, I'm 18 and I'm English and Lithuanian.
Hi, my name's Namitha, I'm 17 and I'm Indian.
My name's Mohammed, I'm 17 and I'm African.
My name is Mira, I'm 17 and I'm Indian.
I'm Eddie, I'm 17 and I'm from Kosovo.
These students expect to get great results, and yet they too are concerned at the disparities appearing in today's racial audit.
Quite a scary thought in a sense, because we could be exactly identical on paper but not get a job because of some sort of inbuilt or some sort of structural discrimination.
The people who are in charge of running the country, of running businesses these days, are the ones who have grown up with thinking of race as less of an issue. Unsurprising that there's going to be bias.
Overall, students from ethnic minority backgrounds are performing better in education.
So that when you go on to do something scientific at university, it won't be the first time you come across this sort of equipment.
They're more likely to progress to university than white pupils leaving state schools. And this sixth form college in Newham is part of that success story. 90% of the pupils are non-white. They go on to elite universities, not just in the UK, but also in the US. But there are still gaps nationally. Here's the percentage of students getting 3 grade A's at A-level. There's a clear gap between black and white pupils. And if you break down the Asian category, it's clear Pakistani and Bangladeshi students aren't faring so well. Worries over inequality drove head teacher Mohsin Ismail to set up the school. An East London boy himself, he left his job as a city lawyer to retrain as a teacher.
I realised when I started working in the city law firms, there weren't too many people like me or from a social background like mine. My parents are uneducated and therefore couldn't have those rich discussions or create that culture of learning in the household that you would probably get if you were a child of a middle-class parent. So I decided to come back to the community that I grew up in.
They teach a super curriculum: Latin, history of art, debate, education you would normally only get in the private sector. But here's the catch: only those with A's and B's at GCSE are admitted.
Aren't you just taking the top end away from the broader education system?
We're working with a particular type of student in a deprived area who for some time have been neglected, and therefore we're doing our bit to ensure that they are elevated.
Today's audit shows a complex story. While black Caribbean students are 3 times more likely to be excluded than white pupils, it's white students on free school meals who are getting the worst GCSE results.
Inequality is not just limited to racial inequality, and I feel like it's potentially the government just finding a way to avoid that issue.
Racialising isn't really a good idea because there's such a huge risk of sort of alienating sort of white working class people and all that.
So you're worried about a backlash?
It's a sensitive topic, so that's why I think everyone's really iffy about how to solve it.
I think homogenizing inequality is a bit of a dangerous slippery slope, because then it does seem like a big, broad, widespread issue, whereas obviously it is, but tackling it would be easier if you dealt with it specifically. It's time to take some action and do something about it.